The next thing I'm going to do is create the entity red cow class, which I've done. And now what we need to do first is enter on that curly bracket and put extends entity mob. So this entity mob is the class you extend from to make this hostile. And now after package net.minecraft.source, we need to put import java.util.random. So this imports some stuff that's needed for this entity to work. The next thing I'm going to do is put in a constructor. That's one of the two constructors needed for this to not be an error. So we need to put public entity red cow, and then we need to put brackets, and we need to put world. Then we need to put two curly brackets, and we need to write here super world so that the error for that goes away. The next thing I'm going to add is the texture skin for our entity. So we're going to put on a new line, but inside that constructor, texture equals, and then we need to write the destination, and that's going to be redcow.png for me. So basically inside Eclipse client bin I've got a texture called red cow, which I'll show you later on. The next thing is the move speed, and I sort of know that zombies and stuff usually walk slower than normal mobs. So what I'm going to do is move speed equals 0.25f, which is reasonably slow, but that's when they're just normal and not bothering anyone. Now one thing that's applies with entity mob and other entity creatures, attack strength. And attack strength is the amount of half hearts of damage it does to you when it attacks you. So I want to put attack strength, so we put attack strength with capital S equals 4. So this is saying that every time this entity hits me, I lose 2 full hearts, because 4 half hearts makes 2 full hearts. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add a task. Now these tasks are thing that it naturally does, it does because of occurring stuff like attacking it. So the first task we're going to add is going to be the wandering about. So we're going to write tasks.add task. What it is, so I mean what number it is, so it's the first one, so we put a 1. And then what the task is going to be, so we're going to put new entity AI wander, 2 brackets, and now we're going to say what's going to do this, so this, and how fast it's going to wander about, so move speed, saying that this move speed is the speed at which it's going to wander, and put semicolon, and that's your first task done. So now the second task we're going to do is watch closest. So this is where it's a task that says what the entity watches when it's nearby. So we're going to copy and paste that task, and we're going to change the 1 for 2. We're going to change entity AI wander to entity AI watch closest. And then inside the brackets we're going to put what's going to do this, so this, what's it going to watch, so we need to write net.minecraft.source and then dot and then the class name, so entity player aka us. And now we need to say how fast its head will move when it's watching us. I'm going to put this quite high, 8f, which means its head will always be watching us. Oh, I forgot entity player dot class, and then it will work. And then so basically 8f means that the speed of its head it moves, so that means it's quite instant, and the head, if it's watching us, it won't ever take it off unless we move away. So that's your second task done. So now we're going to do the next task, which is going to be called entity idle or look idle, which basically when the entity stands still it looks like it's not moving or anything. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to copy and paste the first one, change the 1 to 3, change this entity AI look wander to entity AI look idle. And then we need to take away this move speed and leave this, so it's saying what's going to do this task, and it's going to be the entity red cow. And that's your third task done. The next task we're going to do is going to be called entity AI task on collide. So this is not task, tack on collide. So this is saying that if this entity player attacks it, then it's going to respond by attacking it back. So we're going to write tasks dot add task bracket, the number, so it's 4, and then when you say what the AI is going to be, so it's going to be entity AI attack on collide, put bracket, and now we need to do 4 things, I think 4 or 5 things. First one is what's going to do it, so this. Second is what's going to attack when it's attacked by this player, so we're going to put net.minecraft.source.entityplayer.class. The next is the move speed, I believe. so how fast it will move when it's attacking us. So we're going to say move speed as well, so the same speed. And the last one's going to be, we're going to put to false. Now, I don't know what this function is, but people have been telling me that it's saying that if it still attacks you after you're out of line of sight. So false means it does not attack you if you're out of line of sight. If you put that to true, it means that once you attack it, there's no getting away from it unless you kill it. So that's your fourth task. So now we're going to add 2 more tasks, but it's going to be called target tasks. Now I don't know why they're called target tasks, maybe because of targeting, but they don't seem to do anything different in terms of categories to these ones, but they're just in the wrong category. So what we're going to do is copy one of these, paste it, we're going to change tasks to target tasks. We're going to change the 3 to a 1 because target task is its own like kind of category, and then we're going to change entity AI look idle to entity AI hurt by target. And now we need to put this and then false. Now what entity hurt by target does is basically saying that if we're attacking it, or if it attacks us and we attack it back, if it's hurt by that, this means what's going to do that, so this. And then false, I think, I'm actually not entirely sure what that does, so I'd leave it as false unless you can find out what it does in the internet, then please tell me in the comment section. But that's your first target task done. Now the next task, the last target task we're going to do is the one called, I think, entity AI nearest attackable target. Now I'm not sure what this does, but I've seen that most of the hostile mobs have it, so I thought I might as well include it. So target task, I'll add task, the number, so 2, what's the entity AI, so entity AI nearest attackable target. Now we need to put 2 brackets, put what's going to do this, so this, what's it going to attack, so player. I'll just copy this here. And then in the other classes for hostile mobs, they've put 16F, 0, false. No, they've put true. Now I'm not sure what any of these last numbers do, but seeing that the zombie has it, I think another entity has it, then I think I'll just leave it as. And that's all your tasks done. The next thing I'm going to add is a new constructor, and this is public boolean is AI enabled. So this is the new AI that was installed at I think 1.2 or something. It's saying is that going to be enabled on this, and I'm going to return true because I want this new AI, which I think is the thing where it says when it's daytime they find dark spaces, or if they're burning they jump into water. So that's the new AI enabled on our hostile mob. The next constructor we're going to add is the constructor that's needed, and it also takes away this error here, and it's get max health, which clearly means the health of the entity. So I'm going to return, and we put a number, so 20. Now this 20 means 20 half hearts, which is 10 full hearts, so this entity has got the same amount of full hearts as a player. And that's your health done. So the next thing we're going to do are the sounds. So the first thing we're going to do is protected string get living sound, and this is the sound it makes when it's just walking about, not doing nothing harm or anything. So we're going to put return speech marks, and we're going to put mob dot zombie. So I want it to have a zombie sound when it's just walking about and not troubling anyone. And then the hurt sound, I want to both be the hurt sound and the death sound. I both want to be mob dot cow hurt. So this means that when it's walking about, it sounds like a zombie, but when we hit it, it sounds like a cow, and when it dies, it also sounds like a cow. And that's your sounds done. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is something that wasn't in the friendly mob tutorial, like most of this here, which is when the entity can drop more than one item. So what we're going to write is protected void as its own constructor, protected void drop few items, input brackets. Then we need to put boolean par1 and then int par2, the curly brackets again, and then inside here, basically this is the thing that says that it can drop few items. The boolean is what it is, so what we're going to write to start, and that's drop item, so it's saying that it will drop this item. And then int par2 is the item it drops. So the first one I'm going to do is the beef, because obviously cows drop beef. So item dot beef raw dot shifted index, because it's an item, and then put a comma and the amount it drops. I want it to drop 1. Then we put a semicolon, and that's your first item, and I want it to drop 3 different items. So the first item is beef raw. The second item, drop item, I want it to be rotten flesh. Actually, no, I don't want flesh. I want red apple. So apple red dot shifted index, and the amount I want to drop. I want it to drop 2 red apples. And now I'm going to show you this for blocks. Now the weird thing is that you put drop item, and then you can still put block dot something. So I'm going to do block dot cloth, which is wool, dot shifted, not shifted index, dot block ID. How many it will drop? I'll put 1 and a semicolon. And that's your multiple item drops done. So the last thing we're going to put inside this class is protected boolean can despawn, and then 2 normal brackets, then 2 curly brackets, and inside here we're going to put return true. Now this is saying if the mob here can despawn if the difficulty is set to peaceful or if it's daytime. So actually no, it's just if it's set to difficult. It's difficulty set to peaceful, it says return true. So it means if we put it on peaceful difficulty, this mob will, all these mobs in the world will despawn. And that is your entity red cow class completely finished.